We will begin this module talking about news. News conveys information. In the case of news about investments, this information helps investors to form a view about the future cash flows from investing. As we saw in the first topic on financial principles, as well as the topic on valuation of securities, the value of a financial asset is the present value of future cash flows. News is being released all the time. News causes investors to change their valuation of investments, which changes their buying and selling decisions. This in turn changes the value of investments through market forces, and this changes the return for those who have invested in those assets. As we know, variability or volatility in returns is what we call risk. So news results in risk. But there are two types of news, resulting in two types of risk. Sometimes news is specific to a company or an industry. Variations or fluctuations in returns caused by this type of news gives rise to what we call independent or unsystematic risk. It causes variability of returns that is specific to individual investments rather than to the entire market. Sometimes news relates to the entire market, causing variability of returns in all investments. And this type of variability or risk is called common or systematic risk. Recall from a previous module on correlation that we compared the variation in share prices for two companies in different industries, BHP and CSL. Sometimes prices of such shares move together, and sometimes they move in opposite directions. Logically, since systematic risk affects all investments in the market in the same way, when prices or returns move in opposite directions, this can only happen as a result of company or industry-specific news, and therefore this type of variation must be a manifestation of unsystematic risk. As we saw in the module on correlation, when returns on investments in a portfolio move in opposite directions, they tend to cancel out, reducing the overall variability in returns or risk of the portfolio. Recall that this phenomenon, adding shares to a portfolio that are not perfectly correlated so that there is a reduction in the risk of the portfolio compared to the risks of the individual shares, is called diversification. For this reason, unsystematic risk is often called diversifiable risk, because it can be reduced by diversification. Systematic risk, on the other hand, is often called undiversifiable risk, because it is risk that cannot be reduced by diversification. It is also sometimes called market risk, because it affects all investments in the market in the same way.